I am in Washington, D.C., where it's almost 90 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which is 32 degrees Celsius. The first weekend of July was the hottest since 1919, and this is the case across the country. But in the Middle East, this is the weather almost all year round. So, what can we learn from the region so that we're not boiling away? The first is architecture. Instead of relying on energy, traditional Middle Eastern architecture actually relies on the forces of nature. They use shade, airflow, and suitable material to keep the heat out. I talked to Professor Susan Rofe, who's a sustainable architecture expert.
The obvious thing is because America, they built very cheap housing, largely. You need the modern housing estates, yeah? Lightweight, fixed windows, very little space between the houses. And for instance, in Arizona, they roll them out across the desert. So, I mean, initially you start with simple things like shade everything, yeah? Shade the walls, shade the windows, and don't build excessively large areas of glass. Keep the heat out of building.
Professor Rofe mentioned something important, that people move around their houses as the temperature changes. So the courtyards in the morning, the basement in the hot afternoon, and the rooftop at night. Finally, passive cooling is essential. So wind catcher towers pull cool air into buildings, courtyards create shade and circulation, and mud and brick walls actually absorb heat. This reduces the need for air conditioning.
As energy becomes more and more expensive, more and more people fall into fuel poverty and can't afford to run the air conditioners all the time. You have to get designers who understand heat in buildings and the relation to local heat in buildings and relationship to local landscapes, to local climates, and local economies and cultures.
Rofe talks about what we call comfort colonialism, the fact that Western standards of comfort powered by air conditioning are now being treated as universal.
By air conditioning, what you've done is you have are more sensitive to changes in temperature. So people will inevitably, probably, by 2035 will be moving to the cooler part.
The future of cooling cannot depend on air conditioning alone. We need smarter buildings, more shade, and better airflow. The Middle East offers lessons over many centuries. The real question is if the rest of the world is ready to learn from them. What would you do to stay cool? Let us know in the comments.